just about to do this.
The same thing?
Yeah.
Man, if y'all do it, I'd like to be a guest on an episode, man.
No, I thought
We'll do a couples.
I got you. We'll chop it up on here because she was like, man, when you talk about stuff, it gets deep.
It does.
She was like, think about doing that. And I was always telling her like, yeah, maybe. And then she was like, you got some knowledge that people don't think about. And you should really put it out there. So that was one of the things that she wanted to do, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then around the same time, you had let me know about this. I was like, hey, I'm going to hop up with Zaid.
Oh. We're 10 seconds out. Welcome, everybody. We welcome you once again, and today we're doing something a little bit off routine. We're also including a YouTube live video along with this podcast. Tonight, with me is my brother, my friend, my child's uncle, my boy, Joe Cortez, Primo. We're going to just have a laid-back conversation about a few things. I was appreciating certain things in this week, or this last week, regarding telemedicine on how it advanced so much that recently my insurance company had sent me a free tablet with free internet in it, to where if I ever need a doctor or a nurse or a pharmacy or anything healthcare related in the middle of the night, I don't have to go to the ER and waste money, waste time, waste energy, or call an ambulance if it's not an emergency. I can directly just click on a tablet and a doctor will just show up, and he can write me prescriptions, and he works in conjunction with my PCP, my primary care provider, and it's just efficient healthcare, and I'm thankful for this kind of healthcare that we have, and with that being said, I'd like to start tonight's episode with my homie over here, Joe, and we were talking about a lot of things actually. What's on your mind, Joe? What's up, brother?
Oh yeah, we were talking about the healthcare system just as a whole.
Yeah.
And
we're talking about faith.
Yeah,
energy.
Faith and energy, and medicine works. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a firm believer in energy and faith. I was telling him, I had diabetes. Actually, when I first got it, man, it was bad. I went to what they call DKA, diabetic coma. I had acid in my blood because my kidneys were messing up. And, I went with traditional medicine when I was first battling that insulin and everything like that, trying to get it in control. And then, as it progressed, I went to a doctor another time, and, he informed me that, I was developing cancer. And then, he wanted to prescribe me all kind of stuff, different kind of medicines. And, I decided to take that information and kind of deny it. With the energy that I had inside of me, I told myself I could beat this,
What was the cause of your illness?
Oh, it was prostate cancer.
You were suffering from cancer?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And you declined healthcare that they offered?
Yeah.
What did they do? Like, when you told them that, when you told the doctor that you don't want no treatment for the cancer, what happened?
Well, they try to, give me all kind of information about it and things I should do, and you know, different kind of medicines, and try to put me on a plan. And I told them I have my own plan. Um, you
God's
know,
plan.
God's plan, and so I kind of changed my lifestyle, but not like the way that everybody would think. The way you eat, the way you walk. No, I changed my lifestyle in a way of, if my creator was going to call me, then he was going to call me. That there's nothing to that. But what I'm going to do here is enjoy the time that I have, and and put it in his hands. So spend more time with my kids, taking them out to the park, living my life as though I didn't have it, appreciating my wife a lot more. I mean, she didn't know for a while that I even had it. That's
How could you tell her?
yeah, and put that on her. So I kept that all to myself. And a couple times she was just like, "Damn, you kind of look sick, like something's wrong," and I'm just, telling her, "Nah, don't worry about it." And over time, without taking any kind of medicine or anything, I eventually just started getting better. And like I said, I'm not one that's like, oh man, let me read the Bible every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pray every day and read the Bible every day. And no, like I said, I put my faith. When you have faith, that means you don't doubt. So I didn't doubt. So I didn't have to pretend to be somebody I wasn't. I didn't have to pretend like, oh yeah, I'm a changed person. I'm gonna, nah. You know what I'm saying? My faith was that he got me. So I mean, that was that. And I lived kind of how I should have been living, a more happier life. I didn't let things get to me. I wasn't getting mad at situations that I couldn't control. I lived in a better place, and like I said, enjoyed the people around me a lot more, and gave them opportunities to see a happier version of me. And over time, I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel anything, and went back for another visit. I want to say a year later, and when they checked, I didn't have anything.
Oh
There's
my God.
nothing there. Um, and I think to myself too, like, what would have been if I would have been cramming myself with all of these medications? Man-made medicine.
Chemicals.
Yeah, chemicals. Putting things in my body. Uh, you know, it changes you. Those medicines, I'm not going to tell somebody, hey, don't take your medicine. Don't get me wrong on that. But I had a certain faith and view that made me just say, no man could save me. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen. But if I trust in somebody, or trust in the Most High,
Mm.
And leave it in his hands and don't be thinking about it, uh, I would have a different outcome. And when I went back, I didn't have anything. And they're like, yeah, we don't see anything here at all.
Man.
And they're like, are you sure? Let's go ahead and get your paperwork and take a look to make sure you did have it. And they're like, oh, yeah, you had it. And didn't find it again. It's been now a couple of years, maybe like my son's 5, about 5 years since I got that news, and I don't have it. I'm good, as y'all see. I'm A1 YOLO.
Huh.
No medicine, no kind of therapy, no kind of stuff. Not changing my life habits. Like I said, and like I said, when it comes to faith, it has to be without a doubt. And I had a without a doubt moment that it was going to be good. There was nobody or nothing that was going to tell me that's going to happen to you, and you're going to be plagued by this. I was just like, I don't believe that. I don't need that energy. I put my faith in something and my energy into a different form, a happier form. The happier form, it changed me. And A lot of people who don't know me, I used to be a lot heavier.
Hmm.
Uh,
Not as heavy as me, but yeah, you were like in your earlier days. You were, I would say, husky.
yeah, a lot huskier.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you were to look at me now, you wouldn't tell I was dealing with all kind of medical issues, and like I said, I'm strong as ever. A few months ago, I was helping my little nephew.
A moment where you said, I choose this,
Yeah,
and you went with it.
when they came back with the results, my heart dropped. Uh, the only thing I could think about at the time, I have three kids. I only had two at that moment.
Wow.
When
Bless.
they told me that, the only thing that came to my mind was kid one, kid two in my eyes.
Oh, what?
Kid one and kid two.
Yeah.
The only thing I saw in my eyes, like, man, they could be without their father.
Oh
And,
my God.
I did the best of my abilities and the best of my life to try and be the father, because I didn't have a father
Yeah.
growing up. I have a father,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But I could count with my fingers how many moments that I've had growing up with him, spending time with him. And I told myself that I would never let that happen. So,
Like that's funny how when we don't have something in life, and then when we finally have our own version of it, we know how to take care of it and value it and nurture it a lot more than we would if everything would have been all gravy. You didn't you not having a relationship with your father helped you probably realize the bond between a father and a son, and your relationship that probably molded what your relationship is like with your kids.
yeah, I mean, I personally, I can't understand a dad out there who doesn't have a relationship with their kid. I mean, I look at my kids and they do stuff that I did, and they don't even know it. And they come up with things like, "Oh no, I didn't do it." I'm like,
Mm.
"Dog, like I used to do that. Like, don't tell me you didn't do it." Like, it's crazy how much we are them, they are us.
Yeah.
And for a father not to be around, I mean, that me as a dad and appreciating the kids that I have, I can't even understand
Yeah.
why he wasn't there. Like, there's nothing you could tell me to make me
Yeah.
cope with the fact that you weren't there.
Yeah.
Because my kids,
It
I mean,
comes from your body. How can you not worry about it? But then that's why you probably question it, and that's real. I mean, I can easily say you never know what type of demons he might be facing, and that's my view at it. You know, you never know what he might have been facing. Maybe he felt inadequate. I don't know, but you realizing that made you the kind of father that you are. I
yeah,
believe.
yeah, and and that's kind of what we were chopping it up about earlier too, companionship,
Mm,
and companionship and energy.
right.
So I mean, no matter what my father was or how he projected himself, the only thing that I wanted was companionship from him,
Right.
to know him, uh, you know, to look up to him. Yeah, like, damn, dude, you made me.
Right.
Why the fuck you don't want to see me? So that that kind of energy, it's kind of overwhelming whenever you're in that position, because now I'm in that position, and I realize no matter what I do, my kids will always look up to me and love me. Um, no matter what I am in life, I'm the father, and they're like, "Oh, that's my dad." It didn't matter. It don't matter if I'm cleaning toilets. No matter what I do,
Right.
they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's my dad. Like, he's the shit."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's off of energy and companionship. Like,
But there's also a flip side on that, I think. I think, in my view, the way I learned how to be a good dad, the way I learned how to be, or I think I'm a good dad. I hope I am. I would ask, my daughter and I have a really close relationship, but I think what molded it for me, not just what I learned in society and what I wanted out of a dad, because for a long time I was mad at my dad because he was not in my life. You know, I wasn't mad at him, but I was like very down about the fact that he's alive and healthy, but he's not in my life. But as I grew up, I figured out why he wasn't. And but what I was trying to say is I learned how to be a father. I learned how to be an uncle by watching how my uncles were towards me. I knew from just dealing with certain uncles, I knew what I just did not want to be. But then there was one uncle who passed away recently with COVID, rest in peace. He taught me how to be an uncle. My dad taught me how to be a dad. My dad was a great dad when I was a kid, and that made me want to be a great dad because I recognized the value of that relationship, that companionship. You don't really have a companionship with your children, but you have a relationship with them. They count on you for something, always. Your children are going to always want something from you, even when you're old, not working, and retired, and not worth nothing. They're going to want warmth from you regardless, guidance, navigation. But yeah, either having or not having can determine the type of outcome of what might be when you're put in a situation like being a father or being an uncle, you know? But with that being said, like we were talking about energies. Relationships aren't they an energy? I mean, that's two ghosts. Like first of all, this flesh, like you said last time. What'd you say where if we touch something, we're not really feeling it. It's just our mind telling us to make a movement.
Yeah, so basically our body's a shell. And whenever they broke it down in science, it's a whole bunch of molecules, and they're not. When you get down to the very smallest that you could look to, they figured that they're not actually a connection. They're just a whole bunch of molecules together forming a body. And whenever you think you're sitting on something or you're touching something, you're there's not actually even a connection there. Physically, scientifically, you're not even touching anything. Like I'm sitting on this chair,
You're really just floating around.
and yeah, the molecules of myself and the chair never meet. There's a gap there. If you were to have a microscope that small to see, and inside that shell is energy, and you know that energy is what we have inside of us. That's why I was telling him when somebody dies, if I walk in a room and I see a person dead on the couch, I automatically know, hey, that person's dead.
That person's gone.
And I don't have to touch them. I don't have to feel them. I've experienced it to where I've walked in on somebody and they were dead, and the moment I walked in, I knew it. I looked and I was like, oh nah, something's not right. I walked up and they were deceased. Eyes open, everything. But I knew that energy wasn't there.
Right.
And this was before I had a knowledge of energy, of of that whole stuff that I studied. And you can tell. You could just look, and that energy has left a person. So that's what it is in us.
Oh. So like with that being said, um, see our guidance, well, no matter what faith you belong to, our guidance is kind of like our faith book or the way we were raised or our norms, our culture. But the ultimate guidebook is our holy books. And the holy books tell us this, that this flesh is only temporary. This life is only temporary. This is not it. It's not one life to live. There's more going on afterwards. whenever you die, the energy just floats away somewhere else. So when two people are in a relationship, a companionship, that's two energies combining their energies and vibing off of each other.
Yeah, I mean, you know it's two energies because if your significant other is mad at you, words don't even have to be said, and you'll know something's wrong.
Right.
I could walk in and see my wife and be like, oh shit, what happened? What's wrong? No words said, no nothing. It's the energy. I mean, and you know it, because that's what we feed off. That's what we give. Um, and I mean, that's how you know it's there. Like I said, you could walk in a room with people you don't know, and you also get energy off of them. You'll know, hey, sometimes I'm around someone, I'm like, oh man, I don't know why I don't trust this person, or I've seen people about to do something bad. I've seen people about to rob people before, and I looked at these people, sitting in my car, just observing. Nobody know I'm there.
Yeah.
And I've seen somebody get out their car, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, man, this person looks like they're up to no good. And I've seen somebody rob somebody. This person wasn't yelling, wasn't screaming, wasn't doing anything to make me believe that they were going to do something bad, but I had a certain energy, a certain feel. I was like, man, this person looks like they're up to no good. Just having that energy that they had, like I said, they weren't making mean faces. They weren't holding a gun at the moment. They weren't. That person just was sitting in the car, got out, was walking, robbed them.
You felt that energy.
Yeah, I felt that energy. I knew something bad was going to happen before it happened.
You can be thinking of an individual, and they'll text you. You can be thinking of an individual, and you'll run across them. This is not a coincidence. The law of attraction is real. What you put your mind towards is what you attract. As we were talking about that quote from the father of modern medicine, Ibn Sina, your thoughts can either be illness or your thoughts can either be the cure, recovery. What is illness? Illness is dis-ease. Basically a disease, but what is a disease? It is you're not at ease anymore. You're at dis-ease. So illness can be various kinds. But again, that's your energy off. They can say chemical imbalances of the flesh. Chemical imbalances don't got nothing on energy. Chemicals are. Energy is chemicals. Energy is substance. When you're smoking weed, you're smoking energy from a live plant, which it was a live plant. It died, but you're smoking the energy left over in it. THC, hemp, CBD, whatever you want to call it. So, do you believe, what's your view on the law of attraction? Like, do you think you can attract, they say if you're looking for God, you can even find God if you're really looking for something.
Yeah. So when you put energy into something, a lot of things are possible. For one thing, we only use about 5% of our brain.
Wow.
Scientists say.
Right.
So, what is it that is to say that we have more capabilities that we don't know about and that we're not using? I believe that, yeah, you can have an attraction with somebody or want to know somebody, like you said, you think of somebody and they call. Well, how is that? What if your body is sending a signal to another person and they're receiving that?
And that's possible. We know this by the experiments of Nikola Tesla. he was able to transmit energies in his apartment.
Yeah, I mean, what we're doing right now is we're on a podcast. But radio energies, radio waves, we
Right.
can't see them; they exist.
They exist.
But if I get on the radio, you're gonna hear it if you tune into a certain frequency.
Yep.
There's a lot of invisible energy. The TVs that people watch, the channels that they're getting in, it's coming off of an antenna.
Right.
Well, how's that working? We can't see it, but it's there.
It ain't magic.
Right. We have those capabilities. We have built-in antennas in us. We could pick up on frequencies that we can't see. There's a lot of things that we don't understand that are happening, and we think that, oh, there's no way it could happen, but it is. And that's my belief that there's energy all around us, and we're transmitting it. And certain people, when you tune in, just like the radio, you can find and you can hear that frequency. And they say if you want, you could even find God. So one of the key examples of that is in the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. You have the tabernacle. And, what is the tabernacle? A lot of people ask. Well, the tabernacle was created to hold the commandments of God. But it also, in text, says that people were able to conversate with the Most High with this tabernacle. They could talk and receive messages back and forth. Once again, like a radio, off of frequencies. They're receiving messages from the Most High. And, that was just a physical thing, the tabernacle. We have the capability to talk to our Creator or the Most High.
What do you do when you're praying?
Yeah, you're
transmitting energies, radio waves.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And, that was actually a proven scientifical thing that they ran a test on people that were praying, and their neurons in their brain was sending out frequencies.
Wow.
People that were in hospitals, they had a higher rate of feeling better whenever they were praying, and they had something of faith to believe in. Like I said, we're admitting them, but it's on us to figure out who and what and why. And we still haven't figured those questions out, but like I said, our science has shown when people pray in hospitals or people are praying in general, that we're sending something off. Now, like I said,
consciousness.
Yeah.
Mass consciousness.
Yep.
But I'm gonna say I forgot. As you go, I mean, it'll come back eventually.
Oh yeah, no. So just and there's a lot of things that our bodies could do that we're not aware of.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're only using 4% or 5% of our mind. And I was having a conversation about a debate that my wife wanted me to write for her niece. The topic of the debate was, is sky truly the limit? And I went against it. I said that the sky is not the limit. First of all, if you're going to talk about skies, if sky was the limit, then why did God have 7 heavens?
Yeah.
If sky was the limit. If sky was the limit, why are we only using 4% of our minds? If sky is the limit, why is it that we've learned how to pray with just 2% of our minds and send radio waves to God and each other? They call it telepathy, but telepathy is not like the way they advertise. It's how you feel when you receive a message. When you pray, when you're deep in prayer with your heart, and after you pray, you're done praying, that feeling that you receive in your chest of comfort, of knowing that it's going to be all right, that's not magical thing. That's not magic happening. That's God sending waves right back at you.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is real.
I was having this conversation with my wife a couple of weeks back, and trying to describe it to her how some of this stuff works. And one of the best things that I could think of that that I knew she was aware of. You ever watched The Matrix?
Yes.
All right,
I love
so
the Matrix.
you know whenever they show him first going into the Matrix and they're running tests and they get to the part where he's on a building and he sees one of the other people jump to the other building and it's his turn and they say, okay, nobody's ever made the first jump, and he jumps and he fails. Um, but it's because his mind wouldn't let him believe that he could do it. And I think that we struggle from that day to day. I think we're capable. I mean, like I said, I trust and believe in the words of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that with faith we can move mountains. And I believe that is a true statement.
I believe that too.
But my mind puts doubt in me to where it doesn't allow it to happen. But I think that all that energy in our brain that we're not using, it's there for something, right?
Right.
And I think that we possibly could do stuff, but our own doubt limits to what we could do. And just like, Neo in the Matrix, he tried to jump and fell straight down because he didn't believe.
Every time Morpheus said, he's starting to believe.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. It's a movie, but
No,
in actuality,
that movie is far ahead of its time.
Yeah, in actuality, a lot of the premises of that is things that are possible in reality. He has a moment to where he sees code and certain things he sees an enemy and they're made out of yellow light.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's looking and he's seeing energy.
He's seeing energy, right?
And
what is artificial intelligence?
oh man,
What is that? It is humans manipulating and harnessing electricity, putting their mind energy into a computer, into a machine, and creating life.
have you man? There's a company. Oh my gosh, can't believe my mind's going blank on it. It's in what is it called? Man, I got to think about it for a second. But there's a company out somewhere near Switzerland.
Would you like some coffee?
Yeah,
Yes.
out somewhere near Switzerland. And anyways, they built the first atomic collider
Mm-hmm.
to where they think that they could open up wormholes.
Mm-hmm.
And the craziest thing in the world is that they got scientists from all over the world to come and work at this lab to create it. So you got scientists from America, Germany, China, everywhere. They all come together here. So when they were saying they got this idea, and this is actually on their website, they had received this knowledge to create this machine when they developed an AI, and the AI relayed this message to them about different realms, and they got the source of the blueprint from this AI. So when you think about that, they want to open a wormhole, a man-made wormhole into another dimension or realm, and they got it from an AI. Oh, why would an AI want to do that? Who are they talking to? Who who is giving them this information
Right.
to open another realm of reality?
Damn.
you, you know what I'm saying? And these are scientists. You think uh, a scientist would have a clear explanation on it, but then there's another study where they made a AI in Germany, I believe it was, and when they were asking questions, the AI would respond. How are you doing today? AI, good. How are you? And by the end of the conversation, they said, what's your goal in life? The AI said to destroy humanity.
Mm.
And they shut it off. They turned it off. And while they were trying to turn it off, he was trying to access internet information on bombs and weapons and weapon locations. And like I said, what is that AI? Where's because we have souls and we know where we come from. Even though we don't really know, we know.
Where did the Anunnaki come from in ancient Sumeria?
Oh, Anunnaki is fallen angels. People say aliens. They're right because fallen angels are not from this planet, therefore they are aliens. So they are correct, right. Because they were not made on this earth. They were formed by our creator and thrown out. And now they're the watchers, the Anunnakis, the people that gave us knowledge. And we haven't learned from the beginning. Knowledge isn't always good. We're trying to open up portals now to another realm, and we didn't see that the first time we received knowledge wasn't a good knowledge. Now we have to suffer because we were given that knowledge. We were deceived into receiving that knowledge. And that's a whole crazy another topic there.
Right. Man, this just has me in my thoughts right now. It's like, see, life obviously can be made, or no, God makes life, right?
Right.
God makes energy, because God is energy. God is love. Love is energy. But humans have learned to clone. There's various ways of making life now. Cloning, artificial insemination. There's various ways. Artificial intelligence, computer programming. All of that are all ways of making life. It's not far away that one day we'll have a field, or probably we already have one, called computer medicine.
But you see, when we get into that, that also reflects into our beliefs. God called that an abomination.
Man.
You see, when the days of Noah were here, we had all these kind of things going on already. And that's why there was the great flood, because angels were having their way with the girls of the world and creating things that weren't supposed to be here. And then our Bible, our beliefs also say in the end times it'll be like the days of Noah again. Why? Because more abominations will be created. Well, you say, well, what do you mean? Well, look, souls that were not meant to be on this earth were around in the days of Noah, and that's why they were destroyed. That's why, Yahweh, God of Israel, would say, go to this tribe and kill everybody. The man, the woman, the children, the dogs, the goats, the cattle, kill everything.
Let's, for the record, the world has ended plenty of times.
Right.
Plenty of times. God has started and restarted and replugged. The nations and civilizations have been lost, wiped out from the face of the earth, not to be ever known or heard from again.
And we're close to it again, because it says, like I said, in our beliefs, maybe everybody not listening might not feel the same, but in my belief, it says in the end times it will be like the days of Noah again. And when it says that, it's because there's abominations of God. And he says, when I come, there will be abominations. So, like I said, those are souls that are on this planet that shouldn't be here. And what do we got? AI, we got clones, we got people trying to do shit that we shouldn't be doing.
That's not natural.
Right.
That's not natural energy.
Right.
There's a positive and there's a negative. But I have a point, I forget.
Oh man, it's a lot to take in.
It's just, man.
These are, well, like I said, man, we've been warned and we try. So we are becoming advanced, but if we look back, every time a culture begins to get too advanced, too big for their britches, what happens? Something happens to where they start over. And we're at a point to where we have pyramids and we don't know how the hell we made them.
Wow.
Why? You would think something that great would be remembered all through history. If we knew how to make these great pyramids, and they're not just in Egypt, they're all around the world. There's some in Pakistan, there's some in Mexico, India, yeah. And
Ethiopia has a lot of them.
Ethiopia
has the oldest Bible in the world. 800 years older than the King James Version.
Yep, and in that same place, they have a black Messiah painting on their wall.
They do?
I was talking to him about the Mormons bringing me. Yeah. I don't want to get into anybody's,
I believe
dig into
John
it,
Smith had an encounter with something. I'm not trying to say Mormonism is wrong. First of all, we're about to take a break because our episodes are programmed to be 45 minutes. So we're going to take a break, and this conversation is going to go on. We're going to record another episode. But with that being said, we'll be right back after these messages. ZZ Podcast Connect. Back at ya. And write thoughts so that you know what I'm saying? But let me document this and still my sin.
Yeah, man, that's some crazy
End
shit,
up in.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have these books of warnings, and here we are continuing on and considering these books of warning as foolishness to some people. You know what I mean? Like, some people make a mockery out of these documentaries.
With greatest.
Yet they speak some truth. I just think that shit's crazy.
ZZ Podcast Connect. Back at ya. ZZ Podcast Connect. But yeah, as we were saying, I need a pen. I'll be right back. But just please continue.
Oh yeah, just basically in that conversation we were having, saying that we have warnings, and some people make an open mockery of it. And these books were here for us, obviously, as guides, and we as a society or people aren't really taking these books or guides as they should be. And you know, some people laugh and think that it's never going to happen. Well, some of these prophecies.
I hope everybody's enjoying our show.
Oh, I put it on pause real quick.
Oh, okay, cool. You need that notepad?
Nah, I'm good.
Cause I'm high. Man. Forgetting shit. It's a beautiful conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you mean you?
No, I paused that one.
Okay, yeah. You unpaused it.
Oh shit.
But yeah. Welcome. We appreciate you guys taking the time to chop it up with us. But we're gonna continue our conversation. This energy talk and faith. You know, Noah. As we were talking about Noah, there was a reason why God instructed Noah to put everything in twos. Everything in pairs. Joe was talking about companionship. I was talking about relationship. We're talking about love. Now, we're going to talk about a controversial topic. Homosexuality. Now, it doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Joe believes. People are going to do what they want to do regardless. I believe one can love somebody else. But there's ways and practices on how to do it. Joe refreshed my memory by saying when Adam was created, he was alone for a long time. But he knew he was missing something. And then God gave him a pair. But then he told him not to do anything. Otherwise, you don't have sex. Don't eat the apple. But they ate the apple. And then they had to suffer from childbirth. And then they have to go through life's ills. You know what I'm saying? Everything was said for a reason. If you really think about it, sex, it feels real good. But it's a dirty habit. Why do you think we're instructed in Christianity and Islam? After you have sex, go wash up. But we tend to do it like animals. And sometimes we don't wash up. But that's just going into technicalities. Forget that. All that. Being religious is a higher calling. Being of faith is a higher calling. That's what noble individuals do. But first, we just have to learn to live like humans, not animals. God put us on the top of the food chain for a reason. We're not really on top of the food chain. There's creatures on this earth that can eat us in one bite and beat us. But we have mind. We're the monkey that actually thinks and then evolved into a human. But again, we're mixing creationism with science, and I'm not going to go deep into this, but since we're on the topic...
I ain't come from no monkey.
Exactly. Since we're on the topic...
I ain't come from no monkey, man. Hey, look, man, my creator blew breath into a human, and that human had other humans. They could say what they want to say about evolution. I didn't come from no monkey. If that was the case, then how come we don't see evolved monkeys?
Right.
It's been some years now. I mean, I ain't seen no changes in them. So, nah, that's a negative. And like you were saying, we're not on top of the food chain, but we have dominion because dominion was given to us. And that's why, a gorilla could rip my arms off, could rip my head off, but I have dominion over him. It was said, and what was said is the truth, the word, and it can't be broken, and it's not a lie. That's why we're living in the indoors, and these gorillas aren't, because we have the authority over them. Man named them that.
We know how to think.
Yeah.
God blessed us with a brain that we only use that much of this much.
Yep.
That much of this much. 1%, 4 or 5% of 100. And we don't even know if it's 100. It could be a whole nother number. We put limits on ourselves. But God made things in pairs. You can love who you want to. You can love who you want to. But I've had homosexuals in jails and in schools who turned out to be really cool individuals who I became friends with. They said when they got teased one day by ignorant motherfuckers that a homosexual individual said I'm gonna try to say this like the right way, that having anal intercourse is not pleasurable. You can have a flaming, again, I'm trying to say it like the right way. You can have an individual that's gonna be ignorant and say, I just like to suck this and that. But you can suck on other things if you have the urge of the childish. See, we suck our thumbs when we're kids because we need the nipple for food, nourishment. So having the smoking habit, having the suckling habit are primitive habits. There really are. We have learned to people have you I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Coneheads in the 90s. The way the Coneheads had it intercourse where they would sit down on the floor, touch hands, and just vibe out with this halo over their heads. And that's how they made children. That's how they had intercourse at a mature age. But we have children having children. There's ways of doing everything. They say homosexuals won't make it into heaven. Bullshit, motherfucker. In fact, this may be controversial, but even the lowest of the low, child molesters, rapists, even they're eventually going to heaven. Because our God, and I'm Muslim, my friend over here is a Christian, and we're family. Doesn't matter what your faith is. All faith teaches good. All faith do. But the matter of fact is, there's ways of doing things. There's ways of doing things. Cleanliness is godliness. And after a while, if you've seen a married couple, a sexual thing, it doesn't become important after a while. After you've had so much sex and lived out all your fantasies, it doesn't become, you can be addicted to it. You can be a womanizer or a manizer, and you go from one to another, but that's going to be death eventually. Death is going to come regardless. But you want to do it the right way. You want it an honorable way, hopefully. I hope when I die, I pray to God that it is with honor and not in sin. I want people to be smiling when I go, not because like they're happy I'm going, but because they were happy that I was once alive. It's supposed to be a homegoing. We're jumping into various topics here, but again, back to homosexuality. Things were in pairs. There's a positive and there's a negative. It wasn't meant to be man and man, but men can love each other though. I love Joe because he's my brother. But I know in my head that loving him in a different way is wrong, immoral, unclean. I'm not trying to put no dirt on nobody. Doesn't matter what you do. I probably have done things worse. I used to be a thug. So, not hating on them, but people say that this person is not going to heaven. No, our God is a loving God. He's going to forgive us. But we must learn to think. We must not be primitive creatures. I don't know, Joe, what you think?
Oh man, I got a lot of different views on that. And when it comes down to the matter of homosexuality, will they get to heaven? Yeah, and like I was kind of saying to you earlier, it's like you have a kid, right? And your kid says, "Daddy, I killed somebody," or "Daddy, I robbed somebody." You might be disappointed and hurt and mad,
Mm-hmm.
but are you going to forgive them?
Of course.
Of course. So we have a creator that loves us more than that, more than we can know what love is. Because, once again, we only use 5% of our mind. Can't imagine how much our creator loves us and forgives us. So, you know, when somebody says to me, well, homosexuals go to heaven, I believe so. And when it comes down to me and you, well, if we're going by our beliefs, my belief says not to judge anybody or you will be judged like that. So whatever you do, that's on you. I won't ever judge nobody.
Right.
Hey, that's your life.
Right.
And when it comes down to beliefs, our beliefs tell us not to be a hypocrite. And what's a hypocrite? People think, oh, hypocrite means that, you go to church and you don't do nothing bad. And if you do something bad, you're a hypocrite. No, hypocrite means that you believe in something, but yet you do something else. So if you believe that it's wrong and you're doing it, then you're just being a hypocrite to yourself. If that's what you do, that's what you do. Was it intended to be like that? No. And we could see, obviously, you can't reproduce like that. A lot of these homosexuals tend to be in the higher rate of depression. Depression, suicidal. Addictions.
It's a big part of the community. This is not us making it up.
Right. And I'm not saying, oh, because you're gay, that's why you're like that.
Right.
No. Inside, they're dealing with a battle because, they feel deep down inside, we're all embedded with the code of wrong and right.
Right.
And deep inside, they know it's not right. That's what they like. Just like, what I'm saying? I like to drink. Do I know it's right? I don't think it's right, but I like to do it. It puts my mind at ease, my body at ease. But I still do it, and I know, it's wrong. So, that's what I look at it through them. They do it, but deep down inside, I know that they know it's wrong, but it's something they like, right?
Right.
As long as you ain't being fraud to yourself. Look, man, our creator doesn't want to see a fake version of yourself. That's why he was saying don't be a hypocrite. He wasn't saying don't be a hypocrite like, oh yeah, you have to live a perfect life. No, don't lie to yourself and don't lie to him. If you're going to be it, be it. If you're going to do it, do it.
If your energy is that way, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to knock you for it. In fact, homosexuals are some of the most trustworthy, cultured, educated, pay their taxes, have careers. They're one of the most best individuals out there. Just because they practice something a certain way does not make them any lesser. I believe overall, whether you're against it or for it, you obviously see I'm a certain way about it, but at the end of the day, you should live and let live. In this life, we all commit some type of sin. It doesn't matter if you're doing it out of love, if you're doing it out of energy, you are what you are in this life. That's it. You are what you are. But do it the right way. Do it with class, dignity. A lot of individuals actually do.
Yeah, also on that note, you got to do what you do it with class, right? You're not being fake with yourself. But another point of going by, the word, man, how try to think of how to put it.
Any way you like, homie.
Hmm, man, I can't think of a way to put it, but uh, if that's who you are, that's who you are. Only one person can judge you. Only one thing can judge you, and our whole goal in life is to enlighten others,
Right.
love one another. Um, if you believe in Jesus, um, you know, he came and he only left two commandments. You know, love God and love one another.
Mm.
Um, so while we're judging people and hating people and looking at people like, man, this person's horrible or that's wrong, not one of us are perfect. And it says that not one sin is greater than the other. So while we're looking at that person and saying, man, that person is sinning because that person is doing that, what we're doing isn't any better. There's only one unforgivable sin. And that's to not be with God.
Right.
So, you know, how are we looking and saying this person is doing sin when all the sins we do are the exact same amount? If you put them on the scale, they weigh the exact same.
There you go. Tell him. Tell
So,
him, Joe.
you know, if you're looking at somebody and you're judging them, and if even worse, if you're a person of faith and you're telling them that they're never going to see this kingdom because of the sins they do,
You're fucking up.
and you're doing sins, man.
You're pushing somebody away from God.
And it says in the book that you're believing, it says,
Well, I see what you did right there.
if you stray one of my sheep from me, I will make you depart. If you're taking some of my flock from me, I'm going to kick you out.
Wow.
So,
that's the kind of God we got.
yeah, and you're telling this person, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it because you do this. And we all sin every day through thoughts. It says our thoughts are sins. I look at this girl, I'm like, oh shit, that girl fine. That's a sin.
If you commit it in your mind, you committed it in real life.
Exactly. It says if your eye is making you commit sin, it's better to cut your eye out.
Right.
Why is that?
In Islam, like they say, lower your gaze. Lower. When you see something, lower.
Yeah. And like I was telling you earlier, with sins, they're all the same. They all weigh the same. But on the day we meet our Creator, are we 100 with Him? Are we trying to act a certain way in front of Him? Then I act in front of you.
Right.
When He meets me, this is what He meets. When I meet you, this is what you meet. I'm never acting different, whether with you or with Him. But you see, we get a Christian person or a Muslim person, and they're in a room with us. They might say things or act a fool, but whenever they get into that church or the mosque or the synagogue, they're a whole nother person. Suit and tie, and or praying and leave me alone, or I don't commit in any of that. No, player, be yourself. Be who you're always gonna be, because He sees all. Everything done in the dark will come to the light, right?
Mm.
So, hey, man, like I said, if you doing that, hey, that's on you. But don't be ashamed. Don't try to pretend to be something you're not. Right? Because in the end, we all fall short. And He knows we all fall short. That's why He gave us words. Right?
Right. As of right now, we are going live on Instagram at the ZZ Podcast Connect homepage on Instagram. So we're live on YouTube, Instagram, and we're also recording this podcast for all major platforms.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But guys, one of the most important messages that I could ever tell you on this podcast, in this world, in this life, is don't use your faith or religion to knock somebody. It's for salvation. Never forget the purpose of religion or faith is for salvation.
It's to free it.
When you are saying you're not gonna go because you're gay or you do this or you rob or you steal or you're a rapist or stuff like that, you are taking salvation away.
Right.
And you're using what you learned to try to take that away from somebody. And that's not what it was ever meant for. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we all gonna meet that creator. And to the people who don't believe that there's a creator, like I was telling you earlier, creation without a creator, without a God, without a supreme being is impossible. If you have a kid, or if you don't have a kid, when you see a baby in the hospital, or your friends, or somebody you know, or if you have one yourself, you have to realize the amount of careness to and energy it takes to have that baby grow up.
Just to make the baby, it takes so much energy. Just to have it takes a lot of energy. You have to wait 9 months.
Right, but I mean, exactly.
And then raise it.
Somebody had to create the first people, but
right.
Like I said, to the people who don't believe in it,
right.
If you were to watch a baby, then you know there is no way a baby could survive without the proper food. If somebody gives me a newborn and I try to give it what I'm eating, if I try to give it a piece of steak, or if I try to give it some fruit or some apples, whatever it may be, that baby's not able to retain that because the baby's stomach is not developed for that. It's not made for that. It can't hold in food yet. So the odds of two babies growing up in the world and meeting and having a baby and then them taking care of it without the guidance of a supreme being, it's
asking for failure.
You're asking for failure, but you're asking for the impossible. You say that there's no God. Well, life without a God is impossible.
Oh, life without a God. In fact, I kind of want to have an atheist come in one day. I'd like to talk about that. I want to know how it feels to just be reliant on scientific facts.
Right? Because, like I said,
because science, it doesn't have all the answers.
Science cannot show how two babies grew up into adulthood, had babies, and continue to have babies, not knowing. Because I could have, you could look at two 12-year-olds or two 13-year-olds that are cut out from society in a village or a tribe. And if they happen to have a kid, they wouldn't know what the hell to do with it, right? Unless they had an elder there saying, oh, whoa, you got to feed that baby milk. You can't give it what you're doing. Or, milk comes from here. You have to have somebody guiding you. And these first human beings that they're saying were evolved from apes and shit like that.
In fact, they say that the first creation was an algae in the ocean. Then the algae created a fungus. Or no, first it was a fungus, then it was an algae. The algae turned into the plant. The plant eventually evolved, and there was a reptile at first, a fish. And then we're reptilian individuals according to our genes. If you go back, let's say, 250 million years of of the existence of life. So dinosaurs were here 65 million years ago. So 250 million years. You know, the point that I was trying to make.
Oh, shit, we came from somewhere.
Yeah, no, but like, yeah. Like, so creationism talks about, evolution talks about that we're evolved from that to that to that. So first, we had Neanderthals also. Then a human or a monkey that was almost a human mated with a Neanderthal. But the Neanderthal weren't able to evolve and they eventually died out. But the monkey kept on evolving with the blood and genes of Neanderthal, according to anthropology, scientific anthropology. And the monkey became, in a million years, was able to crawl, and then it was able to walk, and then it was able to walk upright, and then it was able to develop 5 toes, and then it was able to run and make arrows and use rocks. All that took time. So I'm not saying knowledge is bad, but these books that we have, they're guidebooks. They're guidance. The reason we call them holy, because they come from our Father. Or actually, in my case, it'll be my Creator. But either way, we can talk about that too one day. But regardless of the matter, I believe, and I could be wrong. I'm not saying I don't have all the answers. But we would believe God took clay, fire, water, earth, mixed it up, turned it into a doll, then blew his air into it, his spirit into it,
His energy
into it, his love into it, and he created us. Then we had civilizations. Then he got mad because we made him mad. We took advantage of what we had. And then he made us wander for 40 years. And we had tribes. So can you see, this God gets angry too. Sodomites were wiped out because something was happening too much. Hence the term sodomy. So again, we're not knocking it, but there's a way to do it. You are what you are. There's nothing wrong with it. But you're doing it the wrong way, maybe. Maybe. And I'm saying very controversial topics here, comments here, but I'm not made out of gold either. I've done my wrongs. I've done terrible things in life. And homosexuality is not anything close to it. Homosexuality is not even that bad. It's just against law of nature. But I hate to jump back on that topic, but I'm just saying, like, we're talking about creationism right now. Energy. It's been around. It's been around. Energy's everywhere. That one thing we're taught in the movies to be afraid of and look at it as horror, a ghost. It's not a ghost. What is it, Joe?
It's energy.
It's energy. It is a spirit. It is a piece of God. It's not even a piece of him. It's just comes from him. We're too lowly to be. Again, that's gonna go into a whole nother topics, but you have to realize you come from a lineage of the chosen. All of you. All of you. We're all cousins, brothers, and sisters. No matter what, it's just each tribe went one way, and one tribe went the other.
I mean, we could get into, I mean, crazy stuff. We all descend from, Abraham. If most beliefs describe that.
You have Instagram?
Hmm?
You have Instagram?
Yeah.
Turn it on. Because you already recorded right there.
You got a lot of these different tribes out there. But, people always ask me, Why was God the God of Israel? Why was that his chosen people? And this is kind of what we're discussing now. Why? Because at that time we had these fallen angels mating with the women of the world and creating abominations.
Or demigods.
Demigods, yeah, or people that shouldn't have been here. And he saw that, this select group of people had not been contaminated with these abominations, and he said, okay, you know what, through this line, this is going to be my chosen people, because they didn't have it. And so, all throughout the first book of the Bible, you see on command, they were
What's your ID?
uh,
I'm gonna tag you.
they were killing off whole tribes. My bad, trying
Go
to
back on that page you were.
Yeah.
Was there anything after Cortez?
Nah. You feel me?
No. Just go to my page and ask to join. You want me to find me?
I got you. Yeah.
And just ask.
There it goes.
You do follow so you can.
Yeah, I got you.
There we go.
All right. But turn that down. My bad. Oh yeah, all right. But now back to what I was saying though. Basically, we come from a lineage of people because that lineage wasn't tainted with these fallen angels, and the whole first book of our holy beliefs, the Bible, is about basically trying to destroy that lineage and fighting with that lineage. But we all came from one. And especially if you're a believer of this, go back to Father Abraham. He had many sons. I'm one of them, so are you, right?
Yes, sir.
This is what we're taught. So having hate or dislike, you're disliking your own brother, your own family. Yeah, we are separated to tribes, but we are all from one. And to deny that, or to have certain kind of feelings towards a certain race of people, man, headed down the wrong road.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And man, I don't know. That's kind of my view on that kind of stuff.
That's deep, bro, and I agree. I agree because we are all interrelated. It's just like I said, the 12 tribes went their own way. Some moved, up north. But we're all one. We're all ancient. We all come from ancient Samaria. Look at Mr. Houston. Okay. But
What's up, Brandino?
is that him?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was him.
Yeah.
Mr. Stoner.
Mr. Houston.
What it do, Brando?
We were just talking about gay people.
I know.
It's all right.
Oh,
Hey, look, man, we were just discussing that, bro. It's okay.
He said we come from monkeys.
Nah, my nigga, I don't come from no monkey.
Episode.
You could come from a monkey, my nigga. I ain't come from no monkey.
No, he comes from a bean. Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. Nah, bro. Ain't no way we came from monkey. Why the fuck there ain't smart monkeys now? Why the fuck?
Say they're not smart.
Why the fuck they ain't living in houses with lights on, cooking it up? I mean,
the apes are.
Shit, exactly, and that's why it's a movie. I'm talking about real life shit. Show me a motherfucking monkey who cook it up.
Real.
Tell that nigga to join live.
Boy wants a banana.
Yeah, I'm good on the bananas, Mr. B. We ain't come from no monkeys, bro. They could teach you that lie.
Alien smashed monkeys. See, that's another. That's he's not saying something too terrible now.
Aliens smash monkeys, and this is what we're talking about. If we're looking, the aliens are what the Bible describes as fallen angels, and the fallen angels came and yeah, they fucked everything on the earth pretty much.
Tell him, Mr. B.
So I mean, yeah, monkeys been around longer than you. No shit, I think I hope so. But why haven't they advanced? If they're progressing and progressed, how come they? Well, why do they just stop progressing? Why do we see the same kind of monkeys that we had hundreds and thousands of years ago? Why do we still find the same fossils of them?
No, but not only did monkeys smash aliens or Anunnakis, in ancient Sumeria, but Neanderthals smashed monkeys, which are us, supposedly. Why would they? Because they must have had a nice piece of ass. Who knows? I mean,
Hey, bro.
Neanderthals were
Hey,
something else.
people do crazy shit like that now. You could go to Mexico and go see the donkey show.
Man, you're
You
telling me.
know what I'm saying? So, hey,
Areas of Pakistan, they got dudes smashing on their goats.
country places Alabama, you got people smashing on goats. What the fuck you mean? And you ain't got to go to Pakistan to see that shit. There's fucking pig fuckers now.
Damn mess. Hey man, hey Brando, I want to talk about your adventures at the porn shop one more time. I don't think we got deep into it. I asked him like, what was like it like when he had to mop up the porno room.
Yeah, bro. Crackheads clean that up, bro. He had
Yeah,
crackheads in that bitch all the time. You know what I'm saying? Hey, dog. Man. Hey, them crackheads is something else over there, bro.
Yeah.
I had a crackhead introduce me to probably one of the richest people I've ever met in my whole life. I mean, dude had his name on buildings and shit. And you know what I'm saying? For a little while, I became this dude's personal driver from a fucking crackhead there. You know what I'm saying? We linked up and got cool. And, man, dog, we had some adventures. I met some people. I met some fucking baseball players, football players, rappers.
At the porn shop.
From the porn shop, from a crackhead that introduced me to one of the richest people in Houston that would hang around these other rich people. Like, I've seen fucking Mattress Mac smoke crack.
Damn.
Mattress Mac save you money. I watched him smoke crack with this individual that I'm talking about and was fucking mind blown.
So you would put Mattress Mac on blast, but not the individual.
Oh, nah. That's my nigga.
We're an equal opportunity. I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? We equally hate on everybody. We're equal haters.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? Shit, I ain't got no hate for him, but you know what I'm saying? Look, homie, I ain't gonna say his name, looked out. One of the richest people in Houston. Like I said, he has his name on a building in Houston that I could drive by and go look at. You know what I'm saying? He done took me in there. But, man, I mean, certain baseball players that play for the Astros, I don't seen him smoke with. Fucking Scarface.
Scarface?
Rap a Lot for Life sold him some. Nah, he ain't smoking with him, but he sold him some. I'm like, oh, shit, that's Face Mob.
Man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We pulled up to this hood on the north side, and it looked like an abandoned place. And you know what I'm saying? He told me, go ahead, go knock on the door. And whenever I knocked on the door, motherfucking Face Mob opened that bitch. I'm looking, I'm like, yo, this fucking Scarface. I know, because I used to jam the fuck out of him.
My block.
Yeah. And, you know, the individual gets out of the car, hey, man, that's Cutman or Cutface or Cutthroat, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? He's like, nah, it's Scarface. I'm like, oh, shit, it is. You know what I'm saying? So, man, bro, you never know the kind of people you meet. You know what I'm saying? And when I first met this individual, he was telling me about all this stuff, and I didn't even believe him. I'm like, nah, bro, you bullshitting.
Now, the reality of the matter is, we shouldn't look down on nobody for no reason. Because you'd be surprised how God blesses individuals. He said he done met the richest person that he's ever met in his life from a dolphin.
Him and Joe used to say, nah, I never did, man. Hey, man, that old man had some problems, man. I wasn't trying to catch none of them problems. You know what I'm saying? And I done took that old man to the hospital before.
Damn.
Fucking around with them same. Yeah. I'm good on that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, you know, bro, that shit's crazy as fuck. Crazy as fuck. The people you meet. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? You never judge a person by who they are or what they do. You know, it's not up to us. And a lot of people do that. That's why, you know, when people first meet you, they ask you, what do you do for a living? So they could judge how to treat you. You know what I'm saying?
I hate that question.
If I say I'm a CEO of blah, 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 they're going to treat me with respect. But if I tell them, hey, I'm a fucking janitor at a school, they're going to lower that respect.
They're going to lower that respect.
They're going to be like, oh, what's up, nigga?
Oh, all right then.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? I treat...
Wash my car real quick.
Yeah, I treat you know what I'm saying, with open eyes and open ears. And you never know what a person is or what they're capable of doing, because I say, man, I met some fucking off the wall, incredible ass people that I would have never fucking thought would have had these connections. Like crazy shit.
This food's a food.
Yeah, I stole them and sold them to Brando. You know what I'm saying? Double the price. He ain't know though.
Brando Commando.
You know what I'm saying? Used to get that nigga the 3 for 10s on him.
3 for 10s.
Yeah.
For the dildos.
Yep.
Hey, but on the real though.
That's my
First
nigga
of
though.
all,
What's
I
up,
want
P?
to ask Mr. Stoner. Yo, bro, what's your opinion on faith? Do you think following a holy book is a good prescription for life? Because after you answer that, I'm gonna talk about that issue. We're gonna talk about that issue. Are you a man of faith?
I know he once was.
His grandma, you know, so he used to guide him.
Yo, we used to go to church with him.
We used to go to church together.
And we used to walk to Ludwig Lane Church. You know what I'm saying? Back in the Gap.
Nah, we were just talking about that.
No, because that's the white man's book. But see,
The
it
white
wasn't
man
created by white men.
The book.
It was definitely manipulated, but yeah, it came from people that were not white.
Yeah, it came from people that were darker than me.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably like this color.
King James, yeah. But the author's not King James, and the people that put those edits together might have been King James, but the original scriptures definitely weren't from there, and they definitely weren't from people that look like that. You know, I have a crazy theory and ideology. King James, right? That's the Roman Empire, right?
Mm-hmm. King James? No, that's the English Empire.
No, yeah, it was a Roman king.
King James was a Roman king?
Yeah.
I was assumed it was one of the old English.
Nah, it was Rome.
Are you sure?
Yeah. But
James even a Roman name?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's
okay. I believe you.
Yeah, the words got changed. So you got to look at this. And I tell people, and they look at me crazy. But all right, so you know, in that book, the Bible, it says that there's going to be a great deceit, and a big part of that great deceit, we're seeing it with that book because it came out of Rome, and you have the papists there. You have the Catholic faith there.
Right.
They have a whole city, country there for them.
They have a country within a country within a city.
A country within a country within, a city, right? And so those same people, the Romans, they took over Israel, right? They're the people that killed Jesus,
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
And
Or
after,
the Jews did that.
well, in the end, it
He
was,
just said, "I wash my hands."
yeah, bro. If that shit was in court, that motherfucker would go to jail. You can't say, yeah, you can't say, yo, I washed my hands or something, bro. Nah, them hands still dirty, player. You still held them captive, um, and gave them the ability to even do that. But then we have all through history, the Israelites being people of color. Look at Abraham. Look at Moses. Moses thought he was an Egyptian. He thought he was from Africa. He thought he was actually black.
Yeah, he thought that.
Right? And you have Jesus who lived in Egypt until the age of 12. He grew up there trying to hide from Rome, from, the king trying to kill him. And people didn't notice that, what I'm saying, he didn't belong there because obviously he was the same color. So then you have Rome taking over and you have Rome killing these people. And it says that, they used to burn people who believed in God and Jesus. And they scattered from there. Well, if we look now, if you really look at a Jewish person now, they kind of look like they're from Rome, right?
Yeah.
Because they damn sure don't look like anything that's in that area.
I mean, they're white, but not really.
Right. They don't look like, what's next door to Israel? You got
Palestine.
Right. And then what's next door to that? And then what's under that? Right. Do they look like anything there?
No.
Exactly. They don't look like any of those cultures. But what do they look like? They look like the culture that took over.
I kill you for it, man. You talking too much.
They
talking a lot of truth there.
They look like the Romans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you got these fake Israelites there now. Now they're like, oh, we're God's people. And then all of a sudden, over there in Rome, you have the Catholics popping up. So two of the largest beliefs, I believe, are from one. Damn. They're the Romans. They killed Christ, and now they dwell in Christ's land and say, because the Bible even says, in the end days, there's going to be fake Jews. Don't be like them. It says it in there. Right? So we go from a history of them being colored people to them all of a sudden being white and Jesus being white. And then the Romans open up the Vatican and they're all white. And they got pictures of white people everywhere when that's not how history had it. Why? Because it's a deception. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're being deceived. And now you can't say anything about Israel or the Jews now because now it's offensive. Well, we're only offending the Antichrist. We're only offending, the fake Jews that shouldn't be there.
Right.
That are claiming that they are, but they're not. You know what I'm saying? Bro, that's just...
Nah, keep going. Open Pandora's box.
Yeah. But, like I said, Abraham was from Saudi Arabia. That's where Mecca's at, right? Huh? Yeah.
I thought you found somebody that was, you know what I'm saying?
Romans also believed in Hercules and Medusa, right? They believed in a lot of gods.
They were pagans.
Yeah, so, in the Bible, it kind of says that, men will be deceived, and a lot of these fallen angels were here on this earth. And they were portraying themselves to be gods and demigods. And you have the story of Hercules being a demigod. So in the Bible, it says that Lucifer was thrown down into a mountain. And if we look at all these Roman gods and Greek gods, they're all from mountains, right? That's where it says that they lived. Yeah. Well, that's where the fallen angels lived. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what happened to them, right? Everybody always says, so yeah, were they real? Yeah, I do believe they were real. They were the fallen angels, and they were there.
No, fallen angels are real.
Yeah, fallen angels were there. They portrayed themselves to be God. So where them demigods at now? That
They're
is a
there.
great question.
They're
So
there.
when, in my belief in Jesus and Yeshua, when he came down, he put a stop to that. He went and he got the keys of Hades. And he went down and he told those fallen angels, hey, y'all's time doing that shit is over. That's why, since in history, since Yeshua or Jesus has came, those false gods stopped popping up. We haven't had any new ones like that. Were the fallen angels 9? Yeah, there was there was around 200 fallen angels at the time that they were cast down, somewhere around that number. Um, and even if we look into the tribes of America, the Navajo Indians and the Apache Indians, they also have beliefs in some of the similar gods. Well, how could they have beliefs in some of the similar gods in America when we had no contact with the Greeks or the Romans or anything like that, unless they were seeing something? Uh, how God let white man fuck over the white boys at the church house, right?
That's
Because that is Antichrist.
yeah, but everybody like that though. It ain't only the white man.
Yeah, I mean, they're all like that.
I
We
mean,
got good
humans
people
in
and bad
general.
people in the world, but
No, humans in general are
yeah,
really fucked up. Like the more like they say, the more I learn about humans, the more I love my dog. Can you hear that?
yeah. But remember this, because you say how God let white men fuck over little boys at the church house. One of the biggest things that I've been questioning is stuff like that. So when God made us, He gave us all free will. And what does free will mean?
Love.
Being able to do anything we fucking want.
Right.
And He said He wouldn't intervene because that's our free will.
Sorry about that.
So if we have a God who's like, oh no, I have to stop this from happening and I have to stop that from happening, and Zach over here is about to kill a whole bunch of people, so let me stop him. That's not free will. You see, if God stops Zach and God stops all the bad shit that's going to happen in the world,
Right.
then He lied. And we don't have free will. Because if I'm going to do something, I'm like, oh shit, God's going to kill me before I do it. That's not free. We're able to have and make our own decisions and do as we please. Now, will He punish us for that or get at us? Yeah. But is He going to stop us? No. And is He setting us up for failure? How? It's our own. If you want to do bad, that's on your own will. You know what I'm saying? Those are your choices. The only person setting up for failure is you. You know what I'm saying? You have to think differently than that. But to have a God that comes into this earth and stops every bad thing that's going to happen, then that wouldn't be a free world. Just like people are saying Facebook is stopping us from posting certain shit, right? And people hate Facebook and shit like that because they stop us from expressing ourselves how we want to express. So that's not true free social media.
Yeah,
That
but
is
Facebook is a democracy though.
right. And that's what I'm saying. And when it comes down to God, there is no democracy, right? He
So you're
lets
saying democracy and church cannot coexist?
yeah. There's only one democracy, and that's His kingdom.
Yeah, but
And whenever He left His spirit here. And He left us with our own free will for our own choices. We can't be controlled by something and be thought to be free.
yeah, but democracy and church can't coexist, but that's only them. They have countries that are like theocracy. Saudi Arabia, Pakistan. I mean, all these Muslim countries. they run on Sharia law, and they also have English common law.
Well, we're looking at Sharia law. Are they following what they preach? Because
No,
I've seen the Saudi prince with about 100 hoes in a room,
no.
shaking it for him,
Yep.
and I've seen him with President Trump purchasing weapons of destruction and picking out tanks and laughing. So whenever you talk about Sharia law, that's kind of out the ass with that.
No, but Sharia law. I'm not saying. I'm not trying to say Sharia law is supreme. I'm saying humans are not perfect, but democracy and Christianity may not be able to coexist, but democracy and Islam can.
But it can't, and it is proven because they're not practicing what they preach.
No, but they're not practicing what they preach, but they're making it run though.
But all
It may
right,
not be run right, but it's running.
so I
They
mean,
may not let
we
you.
could.
They may not let you say the pledge, say prayer in school, but they will over there, and over here even in some other schools, like private schools. But public schools, you can't have a group. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and at the same time, they say, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, if I look, I could find a USA military base there, and I could promise you that they're praying and saying whatever the fuck they want to say there. So if you're telling me that the law works, and they're and they're
I'm saying.
and if they're upholding that law, then they're not.
But to be honest, concepts like democracy, even to a limit, Jesus Christ, first of all, came to do away with religion.
Yeah.
He came to do away with laws. Okay? But he came with his own laws, but he came to do away with all the extra thing, right? That we do, I guess, in Islam in a way. But these are only concepts. Concepts. We all are a big, like, democracy may be a thing over here, but they don't want it over there.
Yeah.
They don't want it.
Yeah. I mean,
And these are all man-made concepts.
whenever you are raised and shown a certain thing, that's what you have to go by. Some of those people know no others. Whenever slavery was here in America, and they freed the slaves, some of the slaves decided to go ahead and go work for those slave owners again. Why? Because they had nowhere else to go. They didn't know anything else. That's all they knew.
But the most important element of education, whether it be home education, school education, religious education, military education, whatever form of education, the fuck, man, I forgot what I was going to say.
No, I mean,
We were talking about what? Oh, yeah.
we're saying, I was basically saying,
Oh, I remember.
yeah,
The point of education is learning how to think for yourself. If you can't learn how to think for yourself, then you're stuck in a bondage. That's when you pray to God for freedom from a bondage. A lot of us are stuck in bondages. And until you learn to think on your own, you are not free until then. You're not in the...
oh yeah, my phone just died.
Oh, shoot. That's an Android.
Yeah, I got the iPhone in the car. You got a charger for it?
I have a charger, and I have a charger for that too.
Oh, well, shit, let me see the
But
charger.
that's not going to reach. I only have this big charger.
Oh, you got a computer right here, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, let me see.
You want a charger for an iPhone? Oh, yeah, I got a computer right there. I'm tripping.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I got the iPhone on the car. I just go grab it. But
It's up to
if
you.
you got an Android phone, shit, it's right. But, oh, no, it ain't even that kind.
It's not that kind?
Nah.
I might have another one.
It's a C.
It's a C. Let me get that iPhone, but let me check. Mr. B, you still there? Exactly, Joe. If you was born and raised... What? No, this is it. This is an iPhone.
Well, yeah. Exactly. If you were born in the island, you wouldn't heard of Jesus. And that is correct because it says that he's not going to come until everybody in the world has heard of him. And for the most part, most of the world is knowing about him now. Yeah. Yeah, that's it right there.
That's it.
So to say To say that
It's too small.
I wouldn't have heard of him.
It's too small.
Not straight. To say I haven't heard of him if I lived on an island, that might be correct. But based on what he said, that everybody will know about me in time, and it's pretty much happening because people in Hawaii know who Jesus is. People in Haiti, Jamaica.
They have Christians in Pakistan.
People in Pakistan. People in the Philippines.
My wife is Christian.
Let's see, what other islands are there that know about him? I mean, almost all the islands know him now.
Bro, Christianity is the most evangelical one of them all.
So you could live your whole life God and worry free.
Catholics have it easy.
So you
They
could
can
live
go
your
to
whole
communion.
life God
Confession, I mean.
and worry free. No, this is basically like me and exactly what we were talking about earlier. Wait, there's still tribes that do them right, and there's still people on a mission to let those tribes know. There's still people that wake up every day and their sole purpose is to let the world know about Jesus.
Hey, get your iPhone too, bro. It's going to be hard to
About
play
God.
that way unless you leave it on the screen of the computer.
Yeah, it's straight. I got you.
Sure.
Yeah. Because that iPhone, that shit takes a while to turn on. But, there's still tribes that do that. Right. But no, like I was saying, though, there's still people that wake up every day and their job is to let people know about God just as he prophesied. He said it was going to be, and it is. And you got to remember, at the time he was doing this, there was only 12 people. So out of those 12 people, you got almost every nation in the world knows about him. So to say his words aren't right or he's not right, he predicted that shit, and it's here. How? Because it's his word and it came true. But nah, man, you can't just live life like God's taking care of you. That's not what free will is.
No, you have to work for it.
Yeah.
You have to put the faith into action.
Yeah. I mean, there's still things that you need to do. And one of the biggest things is your belief in him.
You want me to fix it? Here, let me see.
Oh, yeah.
Sold it.
Yeah, I just sold it. But nah, I mean, that's what's up. So, but what event in your life made you not believe in him? Is this the bigger question I have? What happened to you to make you say, he's not there for me?
He's entitled to what he believes, but we're trying to get to the base of the issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what made you get there? You know what I'm saying? Because it's faith is not an easy ride.
Yeah.
Faith is...
And I'm only asking that because I know at one point you did. So, you know what I'm saying? It'd be different if I knew you and you'd say, no, it didn't. Then I would ask you, why were you an atheist? But at one point, I know you did believe in it. Yeah, man, like I said, bro, free will is a motherfucker. If we were here and he dictated it, we wouldn't be free. People's decisions affect how life goes. Yeah, man.
That's not free will, though.
That is free will.
What is?
You know, he's saying some people are born rich and live a gravy train, and some people are born horrible into rapists and horrible lives. But all kids are innocent. Yeah.
All kids are innocent.
All kids are innocent, bro. You aren't born knowing right from wrong. You have to be taught what is right and wrong. So, are they innocent? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shit, I have a kid now who breaks shit and he doesn't know it's wrong. In his eyes, it's funny to him. he's innocent because he didn't know it was something bad to do.
No, let me ask you a question, Mr. B. What do you and the Queen of England or some king of some country have in common? That's a question to you, Mr. B. Let me see that camera.
Oh, here you go.
Mr. B, what do you and some king have in common? I'm gonna wait for your answer and I'll tell you.
Hey, shit, go live with that nigga.
I know, right?
B, go live, B. Bring my nigga on.
Nothing, not a good. Okay,
Not a
I'm gonna tell
goddamn
you what
thing.
y'all have in common. Y'all have. What up, Mr. B?
What's up,
That's
nigga?
my first time going live. No. Let me tell you though, Mr. B. No. Let me tell you something. What you and another king have in common is that you all suffer. Everybody in this life suffers in one. You may not suffer like the king. Wait. You may not suffer like a king. You may not, you know what I'm saying? But the king may get tired of having, you know what I'm saying, his ass wiped all the time, no privacy. He might get irritated. But human, everybody suffers.
I mean,
He's not what? No. That's because he's a king and he's blessed that way. But I'm saying everybody suffers, regardless if you're a king or not.
I mean, you're saying what do you and a king have in common? Well, the thing y'all have in common is neither of you are guaranteed a spot in heaven, and
There
both
you
of
go.
y'all are trying to get into
There
it.
you go.
Both of y'all's lives are gonna end, and both of y'all are gonna have to.
Both of y'all have to take a shit. Both of y'all, you know what I'm saying, do things wrong.
Both of y'all are gonna have to talk to a creator one day. Like,
There you go.
it's inevitable, and it's gonna happen.
But I just said an example of suffering because that's what Buddhism talks about. And Mr. B talks about that he's a Buddhist. Mr. B
My
told me
nigga.
that. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him that. He may talk all that atheist thing right now, but he believes in
Buddhism.
yeah, and that's all right.
Yeah.
Buddhism teaches you that we all suffer. We all do.
Yeah, I mean everybody does. That king, or I mean, we could tell. I'll give you an example that I was reading off the top of my head today. I was reading about Elvis, and fucking Elvis was having multi-million-dollar deals and movies and songs, and his wife said that in his personal life he didn't talk to anybody. He suffered being alone, and he died alone. And you know, even though he was having all this money, he wasn't happy in life, and he couldn't figure out what was wrong, what he was missing. So I mean, that's one example from somebody that we've all heard of. Pretty familiar with Elvis. You know who Elvis is?
Oh yeah,
Like I said, suffering.
we all suffer
Suffering. And
one way or another.
if you look at it, and his wife said he had women, he could have pretty much any woman he wanted at that time, pull him out by the show, do whatever he wanted to do. Why was this cat suffering? Multi-million-dollar. He wouldn't even, she said he wouldn't even go to a store.
Yeah.
He didn't want to show his face outside of his tours, outside of his music. And his own personal life was closed doors.
No, but Mr. B was talking about why do kids suffer and things like that happen, and the king don't. We all suffer in our own ways. God has not determined for us to suffer. You know, he doesn't want us to go through trial. He's not a hateful God. God is a loving God. It's just that there's fucked up people because there's free will. Free will makes them choose, makes them be crazy and then choose. Free will. Some people can't help it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Life is whatever you make it.
Man, this is my longest episode ever. 2 hours already. 215 minutes if you count YouTube.
What does it say? No.
He's not there anymore. He needs to come back.
Oh, his phone probably died too.
Oh man.
But
I think Papa Rich, but he won't be on there.
or
He doesn't come on Instagram that much. He comes on the phone.
you talked to him lately?
I talked to him on the phone. Yeah. He's recovering, adjusting.
As long as he's straight.
You want to call it a night? Not a night, but for the.
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping he'd come back, Mr. B.
Sure, give him a second.
But yeah, man, I'm glad we touched on a lot of things, but everything we talked about somehow in some way is connected to energy.
Yeah.
Everything.
She just like when he got on the phone, his energy was get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of energy he brings. It's a.
No, he's told me that he thinks he can be a comedian. And see what's true about comedians. They suffer. And then that's why they resort to making individuals laugh. Know what I mean? I'm sure Mr. B has it, you know what I'm saying? Mr. B's not a complainer.
Yeah, that's my nigga.
He doesn't complain. But I'm sure he suffers.
Oh yeah, suffer silently.
Suffer silently. There you go.
And shit, that's most people in the world. They suffer silently. But you know, we all do. There's all. What do you say? My shit died. Yeah, that's just me right now.
Yeah, man.
Easy. Perfect life though.
No one has an ideal. Everybody wants an ideal life, but nobody has a perfect life. All right, baby. Babe. Yeah. We're not making too much noise, are we? Cool.
Yeah.
We're good.
It's getting late though. About 1 in the morning. He just said he better get back on.
Cool. So I can Facebook Live him and we can both talk to him here. He can come live here. Well, I don't know if he can come live here. He can come live in the chat there. That'll be better though. Only if Instagram worked on a desktop. Yeah, man. Woo. But yeah, we talked about a lot of interesting topics. And man, I appreciate you taking the time to come over here. I know you had a long way up here. It was a long ride. You know what I'm saying? Awful cool of you to come by. And really, I'd like to formally invite you to become a part of the family of this podcast and try to like become a resident and be one of the co-hosts.
Yeah, you know I'm down for that.
You know, because you're obviously, you know, man, there's just, you know, I can big you up in so many ways, man. But either way, I appreciate you coming by, Joe. And I hope our conversation helped somebody in some kind of way. And if we offended anyone, I apologize sincerely. If I offended anyone, my aim was not to individualize anybody and like hate on somebody, you know, as an individual. You know, our revolution, we're not in it to die. We're in it to live for the revolution. My revolution is not out of hate for this country or this world. My revolution is out of the love of this country and this world. And that's what it do.
Yeah. Same.
Appreciate you joining us.
Same here, man. I hope